Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am the Maize Man. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, share this with your friends and family on social media, and of course, subscribe. Today, we got my interview with Michigan commit and a 27 class offensive lineman, Tristan Dare. Be sure to check him out. Follow him at Tristan Dare 2027 on X. Great interview, great kid, great family. Shout out to his father, Trevor, as well. But without any further ado, here we go. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, man. And I'm gonna tell him where I'm at. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good afternoon, good people. It is I, the Maize Man, and if you're here, then you know why. We got a very special guest, Michigan offensive lineman commit Tristan Dare is joining me today, and without any further ado, let's bring him on. Tristan, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again for accepting the invite, Tristan. Look forward to getting into it and discussing some football, man. Speaking of football, did you have a game this past Friday?
We actually played Thursday evening.
Okay,
Keller Timber Creek.
no
So,
doubt. You guys come out on top of that one.
sir, we did.
Very nice, very nice. All right, Tristan, let's talk about it, man. High school football and development. Before we get into your high school football, I hear that football wasn't necessarily like your first love. You like basketball and baseball. What finally, got you to football, and what clicked to make you stick with it?
Yeah. So, and originally, like you mentioned, I was actually more of a basketball kid. I was always a bigger kid, taller kid when I was growing up in Northern California. So, naturally gravitated towards that. And it wasn't until we moved to Texas in seventh grade at Grapevine Faith where I really started playing football, picked up shoulder pads and a helmet for the first time. And really, it was all credit to my dad. He was the real reason I started picking up football, not just for just another sport to do, but also the values and life lessons that you can learn from football. Teamwork, camaraderie, and all those that are very important later down the road in life. So all credit to him, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have ever played football. But that's really what started it, and then what really stuck to out. Just why I continued. I think it was it kind of came easy to me in seventh grade. I would say, but also it just was the sport that like I loved the most, and I just felt like what I could stand out the most out of all the sports I'd played. So that's why I continue to stay with it.
Absolutely. It's always good to have that good, strong, support system, family base. So, shout out to your father for sure. Another question I have is you quickly have become like a highly rated, offensive lineman. What part of your athletic background do you think has most greatly contributed to your rapid development at the position offensive line?
Right. I think mainly just the different things I've done in the past with basketball and baseball, just those different movements that are different from football. And like just like swinging a bat, I think that's contributed a lot to like developing the explosiveness out of the hips, and then other movements like just guarding someone in basketball, that's really helpful. Learn mirroring, learn body control. And
Right.
it's stuff like that that's really helped as I've moved to football, and also just the different positions I've played in football, because I haven't been an offensive lineman my whole football career. I played tight end and DN before making the switch to full time offensive line at South Lake Carroll.
Yeah. Speaking of South Lake Carroll, pretty big powerhouse football school in the state of Texas, which is known for their football, right? What is it like playing for a school that way or that big? And also, what's the like biggest lesson or skill you've learned from playing for such a competitive high school team?
It's been a real blessing playing at a program like South Lake Carroll. Living in South Lake for a while before I transferred in, I always heard that it's just run like a college program, and now that I'm in the program, I can definitely see why. Just how they handle the coaching staff handles everything, the
Right.
operations. It's been a blast just getting to go through the program. But I'd say kind of the biggest lesson I've learned is just that you can never be like too prepared, and it's something that coaches preach a lot, and Coach Dodge does a really good job of. That preparation and practice throughout the week helps you play free on Friday nights, and I definitely agree with that because in my experience, the weeks where I've had the best practice and most prepared, watched the most film, I've done the best on Friday night. So I definitely agree with that. And another thing that goes into being prepared is just recovering. So
Yeah.
having making sure your body's 100% for Friday nights, and that's definitely been the biggest thing.
For sure. That's one of the things that, back when I was playing football, we definitely didn't like have like all of the position coaches now and stuff like that. These specialized things and even like worry about recovery, right? We play our football game and practice during the week and then just go out and do, regular stuff instead of, really focusing in. So it's great to see like kids today, yourself included, really have that sort of singular focus. In terms of like recovery and stuff like that. That's great. Another question that I got about during your high school years, or you're still obviously in high school, is how would you describe your style of play on the offensive line? What's your greatest strength as a blocker?
Like to sum it up kind of short. I'd just say like Fast and Furious. Really big difference from last year. Is my first year on varsity playing offensive line. Is I feel like I'm playing a lot faster because I have the experience of all 16 games from last year, and that's helped a lot. And Furious just playing a lot more physical, and you can definitely that's something I would say is probably I'm most or not most proud of, but definitely one of the things that I'm extremely proud of how I've improved from last year is how I'm finishing blocks, how I'm coming off the ball, how I'm staying firm in the pass game. That's definitely something was a big focal point for me in the offseason. I think I'm doing a good job of it. Also, probably my greatest strength as a blocker is I have really good fundamentals. And my footwork has improved a lot. It's a lot more consistent and clean than it was last year, and I think that's helped me a lot throughout these first 5 games. And mentally, I think developing that like mental edge that you have to have playing football and specifically offensive line, you have to be a little bit different, a little nasty to play in the trenches. And I think I'm really starting to get that mindset of just taking the will of whoever lines up next to me, just absolutely dominating them for 4 quarters. And I think I've done a really good job at that.
Absolutely. A school like Michigan, we're looking at some of your film here. Um, just some of your huddle film from a season ago, I believe. But a school like Michigan, really kind of known for its offensive line play, right? Joe Moore Award winners back to back years, a few seasons ago. Did that help you in your decision making to choose the Wolverines? Did you look at that kind of past offensive line success?
Absolutely, that was definitely one of the things as far as the development aspect that we were looking for, or I
Hmm.
was looking for in a college, just the ability of a program to develop their players into like NFL ready talent, and definitely that was definitely a big one. Just all the people they've had over the years, Zach Zinner being one of them, an All American, Cesar Ruiz, just all the talent they've had and been able to develop that are now playing in the league. It's definitely enticing for me, to say the least.
Absolutely. You're listed as both a guard and a tackle. Which one do you prefer, and which one do you anticipate playing at the next level?
As of right now, tackle because I mean I played tackle for the last 2.5 years ish, so I'm definitely most comfortable with that. Uh, wouldn't mind moving inside whatsoever, like in high school, but
Right.
usually usually coaches will put their most athletic. I'm not trying to brag, but they'll put their most athletic guys at the edge to hold down the edges. So that's why I'm playing tackle. But coaches really value my skill set too, and I believe one of those aspects of my skill set is the ability to move inside.
Right.
I have the measurables to be a center or more of an interior player. And talking with these college coaches on these visits, they've discussed with me that they see me more as an interior guy. So I think as I make the move to the next level, that's what it will most likely end up being.
No doubt. Speaking of the next level, and making the move, what area of your game are you looking to improve? This season and next, the time that you have before entering college. What area of your game are you looking to improve most?
I think in general, I'm always trying to improve my athleticism and just how I move because that's one of the most underrated aspects, in my opinion, of offensive line play is the
Right.
ability to move not only within the box but in space as well, especially a tackle in high school. So that's probably one of my biggest focus. And then again, also trying to solidify those fundamentals. So by the time I do go to up to Ann Arbor, that they're very solid and we can just continue to build off of it.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the recruitment process, man. You've committed, very early, relatively early in the process. What was it about Michigan specifically that made you feel ready to make such a big life decision? Really,
Right. So my big three when I was looking at colleges was development, academics, and culture. And as far as development and academics go, Michigan is like the perfect balance of both because not only do you have one of the most historic programs in all of college football, one of the blue bloods, with the
right?
winningest program in all of college football, but they're also one of the top universities in the country. I mean, they're ranked number three publicly, so you really couldn't
Hmm.
ask for more in those two aspects. But also, what really was the selling point was kind of the culture aspect, which it's kind of hard to see on visits. But for Michigan, it definitely popped out to me, and really the people, as well as the culture. Like everyone was so genuine. It was very like friendly. It just felt like home, if that makes sense. And I think that
Yeah,
was the big selling point for me.
no doubt about it. What's your relationship like with current offensive line coach Grant Newsom and the rest of the Michigan staff?
Very good. He cares a lot about me, and it's kind of been like a natural relationship. We talk very often, and he's trying to get to know me. I'm trying to get to know him. So it's been a blast talking to him and developing the relationship. Um, Him and others on the Michigan staff were extremely welcoming at when me and my dad took the time to go up to Ann Arbor, and that was definitely something that stood out as far as the culture. And they just, like I said, they made it feel right at home. It's just like they made us feel part of the family, even though we were just there in June for a visit. And another thing I'll add is the whole staff was very, very transparent and like straightforward, which is very nice when you're just trying to get to know people and talk to them. And just overall communication has been pretty good with many other coaches, not just Coach Newsom.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up, the feeling of feeling at home at Michigan with the coaching staff and stuff like that. But what else about, and because it's not just the coaches that you're obviously gonna have to basically live there, and it's not necessarily close to Texas. What
Right.
was it about the town and even just the campus that made you feel like this is a place that you could go?
It was obviously besides the coaches, the whole town of Ann Arbor really like stuck out to me. I really liked the vibe of it. Like it felt like some place I'd lived as a kid. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just
Hmm.
felt like a really nice like a really nice suburb area. And I really just liked I don't really know how to describe it, but I like the whole gist of the town, just how it feels, the places we saw. I think that was one thing that added on, like gave me a little sense of comfort. Like, it's really far away from Texas, but
Right.
I think I'll be just all right.
Yeah. You've got a teammate, right? Brock Boyd,
Yes, sir.
who is an Ohio State guy. What's that like? What's that banter like? That friendly competition like between you guys?
It's been a lot of fun to say the least. You know, occasionally we'll jaw at each other like, "Hey, your school sucks," but he's a great leader. He's a great teammate. I'm glad he's
Right.
going to a place like that, even though I don't want to give credit to that school. But I'm really happy. I think we're both really happy for each other, and that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing, you know. So,
no doubt. You got a prediction for the game this season? Who wins that game?
man, I got Michigan winning all day. I mean, all day, man. I mean, Bryce Underwood, he's slowly looking more comfortable as the weeks have gone
Definitely.
on, and he has a lot more time to develop before we hit that game. I mean,
Right.
there's 2 months before he'll see Ohio State, and the running game, man, is I think is the best in the nation. Justice Haynes and man, last week at Nebraska just went off. The offensive line opened up holes for him, and I think that despite the injuries and the shuffling they've had, Coach Newsom has
Right.
done a good job, like keeping it all together, and they're having plenty of success. So,
Absolutely. Antoine says the strongest part of you. I think you answered this in like your athleticism, right?
mhm.
But just for completeness sake, because I don't want to answer it for you, what is the strongest part of your game?
Strongest part of my game is definitely my solid fundamentals and solid footwork. I
There
think
you
I've
go.
been blessed by God with that, and continuing to develop that, especially over this last offseason, having that full 6 months has been really helpful to just being a very solid all around player.
Right. Tristan, let's get into a little bit of your personal and future goals. Before we do that though, um as an early commit, right, because you are committed in the 27 class, what role are you taking in helping to recruit, if any, guys in your class or other classes?
Right. I haven't taken that much of a role yet because I've been a little focused on the season,
Absolutely.
and I think once the season is over, I'm going to start hitting up a few people. I have a few numbers from recruits that Michigan is going after right now that I might text and say, "Hey, this is why I committed. This is why I think you should consider." And that's definitely a start doing uh, once we hit January.
Absolutely. Speaking of, you brought up Bryce and definitely, his development going forward, which, he does seem to be more comfortable as the weeks go on. But you got a quarterback in your class, right? Peter Bork.
Yes, sir.
Have you guys spoken, or is that something that you're looking forward to doing if you haven't?
We have not communicated directly. Um, I look forward to meeting them at a game soon. I'm going up to the Washington and Ohio State game, so I think I'll get a
Okay.
chance to meet him there if he's at those games. But definitely a solid player, and I've heard he's a really nice kid, so it'll be exciting to get into contact with him.
Definitely. Antoine Johnson wants to know what do you want to become after football? What are you planning to study in school?
Mm, Not really sure what I want to do after football. I have some ideas. Like many people don't know this, but I'm actually a musician. Like I have a lot of
Very
music things
nice.
that I do. So maybe dabble into a little bit of music. But as far as what I'm going to study, I also don't really have that good of an idea. I mean, Ross School
You
of
got plenty of
Business,
time.
plenty of time, but also the
Right.
Ross School of Business. Coming from a business family, my dad is a business and my mom is also a business major, so that would, you know, continue in the family uh, tradition, I
Absolutely. And
guess.
Ross School of Business, one of the best in the country, too, by the way. So uh,
Absolutely.
can't go wrong there. Let's get into some of your personal goals, some future goals for yourself. What are your goals for the rest of your high school career, both individually and for your team at South Lake Carroll? Are you focused on winning a state championship?
Absolutely, and I'd say that's the biggest like team goal we have. Coming up a little short last year. It was a little bit of a heartbreaker, but we have a lot of good players returning, offense, defense, special teams. We got dudes all over the field, and we're all set. We have our all eyes set on that trophy in December. So that's really the team goal right now. But we got to take it one day at a time. As far as individual goals, the only real goal that I have is just, like I said, focusing on myself, developing physically and mentally, just continuing to learn the game of football, become a student of the game, and then get bigger, faster, stronger over the off season. And, you know, and also I just, as a on the field goal, not let up any sacks, not let up any TFLs in the next 2 years.
Absolutely. Friend of the show, Troy, says, "What genre of music are you into?"
It's kind of everything, I don't really have a favorite genre, I would say.
Okay.
Um, I kind of dabble in everything. I was trained as a kid as a classical pianist, like a concert pianist, but
Hmm.
as I've grown older, I've gone into more like music production, and I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to that. It's just whatever I make is kind of what it ends up, but no real definitive genre, I would say.
No doubt. One of the things too that Michigan has done well over the last few seasons, especially that I've noticed, is they've recruited the state of Texas pretty well, right? You got Zion Robinson, wide receiver in 26, Jalen Pyle, who's a friend of the channel, wide receiver in 26, Alistair Vallejo, we've also interviewed here in the 26 class, Jordan Deck. What do you think? What do you make of that emphasis on the state of Texas for Michigan?
I think it's a good move because Texas, we're such a huge state. There's just a bunch of schools and a bunch of places where it's just a bunch of talent, hotbeds, DFW in Houston, Austin. There's just a lot of places where you can find, good players and dudes like the players you just mentioned. So I think that's why Michigan has kind of come down here and taken a little dip into Texas.
Absolutely.
It's kind of how the process goes.
Absolutely. Considering you're still a few years away from enrolling, what are your initial expectations for yourself when you arrive on campus in Ann Arbor?
My expectations of myself, I think I'm just gonna put my head down and work, kind of like I did when I got here to South Lake. Just kind of find my place in the locker room where I fit in with the guys and the coaching staff,
Hmm.
and just learning that playbook inside and out. I feel like that's something that's valuable to do once I get up there. Just being prepared, like I said, is a skill. I mean, you can never be too prepared. And once I get up to Ann Arbor, I think that's what I'm going to continue to do. Just be as prepared as possible.
No doubt. Let me ask you this. I'm a huge fan of the college football game. 26. I'm actually in a couple leagues. Do you have you played it? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I have played it, and I have a love-hate relationship for it, honestly.
Yeah,
The mechanics of the game just frustrate me at times because, sometimes, when you play online, some dude will just throw bombs all the time, and, like, you're staying in cover 4 and your DB lets up,
exactly.
and
It's
it but it
ridiculous.
and it feels like, every time they run the ball, they get a touchdown. Every time you run the ball, it's a TFL. So but it is fun to play, because it is the football game for college
Yeah,
football. Playing with it's a lot of fun to pass the time with friends sometimes, but it's a love hate for me.
yeah. Um, Shout out to Antoine. He's got another one. Does Michigan give you any type of early plays to learn before you get to campus? This is a pretty decent question. I want to know that too.
They do not actually, and
Okay.
talking with Coach Newsom in his office when we went up there, he did show us a few plays, like early install plays, but
Right.
I don't think they're allowed to give you. There's probably some NCAA rule against
Right.
that,
Yeah.
but I mean, I would absolutely love to get a early peek at some of those plays.
Absolutely. And definitely Michigan wants to stay on the right side of the rules. All right. Michigan
Hmm.
follows the rules, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Dom. He says another intelligent, talented, and well spoken addition to Michigan. No doubt about that. Um, Another question I have, what made, or we already answered that one. Sorry. Who's an offensive lineman in the NFL or college that you watch and try to model your game after, if any?
So, I've been blessed with a lot of things in my career, and one of them last summer that we got the blessing to introduce ourselves to was a 10-year NFL vet who is currently retired. And over the last year and a half, he's been training me, teaching me not only about like the technique things, but the mental aspect, which he's been a huge part in helping me develop. And really, the biggest thing that I've learned that he hasn't like directly told me, but has learned is like I have to focus on my own game and make my own mistakes so I can learn and improve from that and not try to copy like someone else and just be like a robot. But occasionally I do watch people, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Panay Sewell, Tristan Wirfs, just to see how they approach things, how they play in space, how they finish blocks, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
no real one guy, but it's occasionally I'll watch some people.
no doubt. My guy Lich Max, who's also Statboy 2.0 right here for Maize Madman channel, says, "What's your favorite team on CFB 26?"
Michigan,
Of course, right?
of course,
What
of
kind of
course.
question is
Who
that,
else
Lich?
would be?
Dennis says you and Bear McWhorter, who I also no, he's from Georgia. I was gonna say, but he's you guys are gonna do some damage. This is a kid. Come on, we can't say these words. Uh, don't be scared to learn from vets. They could teach you a lot. You can pick up some techniques and skills to implement in your own game if applicable. That's for sure.
It's true.
So far, this past week or yesterday, were some really good games. Were you able to catch any of them? What was your favorite one?
I caught the end of the Penn State game. I watched the whole.
Pretty
I pretty
exciting.
much watched the whole thing. I didn't. I missed the Georgia game, unfortunately. That
Yeah.
was a pretty good game. I watched the highlights this morning. Um, I wasn't really following any games in the morning. I had some things to do, but once in
Mhm.
the afternoon, I was definitely following all the games. Which it was a great weekend. A lot of fun games to watch.
Absolutely. Outside of music, Tristan, what kind of things are you into? You hunt, fishing, any of that kind of thing? Play basketball with your friends?
It honestly depends. Outside of music, I don't really do a lot. I'd say my second biggest thing outside of music is just kind of playing video games, college football from time to time. I hang out with my friends a lot. I'm not really a big fisher or hunter. I
Right.
never really got into that, unfortunately. But just outside of football, hanging out with friends. That's really what I'd say I do the most.
No doubt. Dexter Green, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, great young man, great interview. Can't wait to see you, amazing blue kid. Go Bears, hero Paul. Yo, I'm a Raiders fan, by the way, and the Bears are playing the Raiders today, and he thinks that they're going to win, but I'm not going to get into that. Go Raiders. Does Tristan remain silent the entire game, or does he talk trash or try to get in his opponent's head as the game goes on? Good question, Dom.
No, I don't. I don't talk trash. That's not really me. But there are things you can definitely do to get in an opponent's head that you don't have to speak in, and I feel like that does more damage than whatever you can say with your mouth. So
For sure. Being a Michigan guy, right? One of the requirements, prerequisites, and I'm not sure if they said this on the visit and stuff like that, but no green, no red. We've heard that from a lot of recruits and stuff. How involved do you think that they made you feel anyway with that the rivalries, right? Michigan State, Ohio State. Did you feel that when you were there? Was that spoken about it at any point?
I mean, yes, Michigan and funny enough, Ohio State. We were there the day before. Have both. It's funny. They both have like dedicated parts of their facilities to show how much they hate each other, and
Right.
that was definitely funny to see. That's awesome. Just how deep the rivalry goes, and I think that was definitely awesome to see like why it's the best rivalry in college football.
Absolutely. Dennis wants to know what's the best defensive lineman you've gone against so far in your career.
It he's this kid in Eden in our district. He's a very, very good athlete and definitely a great D end. His name is Elijah Lash. Have a ton of respect for him. I'll see him actually next week. We'll play Eden. Um, so
Very
definitely,
nice. Dominate Elijah and tell him to come to Michigan.
yes, sir.
Here we go. Uh, Goat says, does he have a favorite early football related memory? Going to a game with a family member or little league play or what? Any of those things. Favorite memory?
I think the first football game I ever went to was like an NFL. It was like a Niners game back
Okay.
when we used to live in California. I think there was like one of the only games where the Niners played Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It was like raining like crazy, and I would think we had to leave early because it was raining so much. But I think that was my first like football game that I remember going to, and I remember like besides the rain, obviously that was a lot of fun going with
Very
me,
nice.
my dad, and my brother. So
Did Tom Brady win that game?
I think they won by a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense. Tom Brady in the NFL was a lot to handle for sure. Speaking of Tom Brady, and just other like Michigan greats or anything like that, have you like spoken to any or ran into any ex Michigan players in helping to recruit, or does that happen?
I haven't ran into any ex Wolverines, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I would love to, but I haven't had the chance yet.
Absolutely, I'm sure you will. Especially being committed to Michigan, that will definitely happen. With that said, better off. Let's play a little this or that before we let you get out of here. Better Michigan offensive lineman, um, Cesar Ruiz or Taylor Lewan?
Man, that's hard because my ball knowledge is not great. I'd say Caesar.
No, it's no wrong answers there. Both of those are great Michigan guys.
Great players for sure.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite NFL team?
Niners all day.
Okay.
Because I'm from that Northern California area. So
Absolutely. All right, Tristan. Look, man, I appreciate your time, man. Great interview. Before you get out of here, let the people know where they can follow your socials and anything else you got going on.
yes, sir. And for you, anyone watching, my socials are pretty simple. On Twitter, it's just Tristan Dare 2027. On Insta, it's Tristan Dare 72. Keep it simple. Appreciate all of you guys, and go blue.
Yes, sir. Go blue. Tristan, look to have you back sometime in the future, man, and kick butt this weekend. Again, dominate Elijah this weekend.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank you for
right.
having me.
Yes, sir. Tristan Dare, ladies and gentlemen, the next great Michigan offensive lineman right there. You heard from him yourself. You got to ask him questions. Shout out to everybody who came through. We appreciate all of you. Go blue, of course. Until next time, you know the slogan. Stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'ma calm down. So I just don't get that all that Maize and that lock and all that fun. I just don't get it. So and how the
Oh my God, we're shutting the damn live down. Good night, everybody.